Okay, hello everyone. It's about 9 o'clock during the day, so a little later than my normal little vlogs. Uh, don't mind my background as I'm just working on some minor stuff. So, originally I think I was going to talk about my New Year's plans, and I think I still will, just not today, because I think there's a more important topic to kind of talk about, in my opinion, right now. And so that is one of the things I personally struggle with is depression. You know, like any other person these days, we've all got some sort of depression in some way or another. For me, my depression mainly comes around December, is when it hits the hardest. Um, and I kind of want to talk about it because it kind of goes into why I didn't stream yesterday and why I'm not streaming today. Firstly, it's a lot easier to make videos when I'm depressed because I don't have to interact with anybody. It's just me working on something. And I'm totally down for that. Like, I enjoy that. One of the things for me that is the hardest to deal with and to talk about is definitely doing this on stream because you can tell a lot of times when I'm streaming that something's wrong. For those who don't know, I used to be a major alcoholic when I was younger. I would probably down 2, 3 bottles of whiskey a day just to function. Now, this was back in my early 20s. I'm about 2 years off from being 30 now. While it feels like a lifetime ago, it really wasn't. And one of the big things for me that I struggled with was, drinking, depression with that. Um, and I stopped drinking like outside of like celebrations and like heavily probably about 3 years ago, roughly now. Yeah, something like that. Because I stopped at the my last year of university is when I stopped drinking altogether. I went on a complete hiatus from it for like a good 6 months. Like I wouldn't even drink when we went out. Now I drink on occasion when I go out to dinner. Like I'll have a glass with dinner, but no more than one glass. And although I have tons of mead in the house, I rarely drink. Um, and I try to avoid drinking as a way of coping with depression because I don't like the way it makes me feel when I wake up in the morning to go to the gym, and so that's kind of my biggest motivator on why I gave up drinking, is because God, there's nothing worse than that puking feeling when you're working out. Um, so I switched over and then started smoking weed. I still smoke weed. And it helps me deal with my anxiety, but it does also definitely come as a coping mechanism for when I'm depressed, which doesn't help because while marijuana usually makes you happy and giggly, I think if you are like in that kind of mindset, it can make it much worse. So for me, usually what I do is to avoid getting too dependent on it is I will smoke only when I'm trying to sleep, like a couple hours before I go to bed. That way, I don't become too addicted to the feeling. I definitely do smoke throughout the days, on the weekends, but again, as long as I don't have anything to do or I don't have any plans and I'm not meeting up with anybody. So that's definitely something that I do. But one of the reasons I bring this up is so, as many of you know, about in September, technically August, but September, me and my ex broke up. Me and Calvin. And well, he's definitely not the pinnacle of this. To make that very clear, for me, one of the biggest things I love to do. I love December. I love the snow. I love the cold. Like this is my month. This is my favorite month because I enjoy the cold. I like the snow. I'm built for this, um, and so because of that, and because it's such a major thing to me, um, I like to share it with the person I'm dating every year, every time that it comes around. And every partner, it's been the same way. You know, he's not the first, definitely not. Um, but I love to go and do things, and like that's my biggest thing. Although I don't celebrate Christmas, I love going out and doing Christmassy things, like going and looking at the lights, seeing the trees, going out eating Christmas themed stuff, doing gifts, doing all that. I love that kind of stuff. I personally celebrate Yule or winter solstice because I am a heathen, not really practicing, so 50-50. I just believe in a lot of the tenets and kind of stick to them, in my opinion. Um, but this isn't a video for religion. So one of the things I deal with during the December is the fact that if I'm not with someone, first off, I typically do end up a lot more depressed. I think that one of the biggest issues I run into is the fact that I want to go out and do things, but I don't like to go out alone because it's no fun. I like to have someone to hang out with and talk to. So it definitely becomes a lot more aware of my mind, my mental state when I don't go out and go do the things during December, which it's, part of the whole thing. I could do it, it's not the same for me. Uh, and the reason this year is especially hard is because last year, yeah, okay, gotta fix my hair there. Last year, me and Calvin had our first real month of dating was in December, and we got like a ton of snow. It was gorgeous. We had a really fun date. I stayed over at his house and got so stoned watching Doctor Sleep that I thought the characters were CGI instead of live actors, which was real funny. And, we had a good time. We went out and ran in the snow, played in the snow, and I just loved it. Um, and because of that, like, not having that this year, and it kind of comes back and thinking about, like, oh, I can't wait. And then it's like, oh, wait, you know, it makes it a lot harder. I mean, I'm already a person who slowly gets over their partners. Like, it takes me years to that 10-month relationship. I think is the second longest relationship I've ever had. So it's going to take me quite a while to get past that. Like, I haven't been dating. I haven't even, since November, I haven't had a single date or talked to a single person outside my friend group and such. And so depression does definitely hit because of that. Like, I naturally feel more down. I work out a lot harder because, like, last night, it was so bad that I just went to the gym. I went to the gym that morning and did my chest day and back day, and then I went to the gym that night and went and did another run along. That was my Facebook. Just ignore that. Along with a full on um, arm day. So, like, I couldn't move by the time I got home last night. I was so dead. I did a full run in that, and I went to go smoke to try and let my muscles relax and just pass out. And today I'm doing all right. I can move my arms, but they hurt. But that's something that I do definitely think I struggle with overall is the December depression. Um, and for me, I think the biggest thing was, at least when it came to the relationship, that kind of became a catalyst for kicking off my depression in December. Um, I stupidly went to my ex's Instagram and saw that he was with someone already. Now, for those who don't know, if I didn't tell the whole story, um, we dated for 10 months, technically 11 if you want to count September. Or no, it was 10, because we started dating in November. Yeah, so the previous year. So the basic thing on what kind of led to the breakup was I made a joke while we were out drinking and eating pizza, and said, he made it. We were talking about something about his friend Aaron. And I was like, we can. I'm more than happy to help you with like getting them going, getting them kind of chasing a career, and stuff like that, like I do for my friends. I was like, but do you think she would take to it? And the conversation was a little serious, and then afterwards we were joking, and I made a joke, and I said, "Oh yeah, because I'm only with you to sleep with you, because it guarantees I'll get laid." And I said it like that, while while buzzed and joking around. Um, but he took it very seriously because he had some past traumas, which I fully understand. I didn't really realize that, and he was so upset, and it basically we broke up right there. We went out and I tried chasing after him, and he didn't want to, so I went and talked to Wolf and his girlfriend and basically asked them for help, and we got back together and then just stopped sleeping together, and basically all together the relationship was kind of we'd go on dates, but I paid for a Portland trip with him and tried to fix everything, but he didn't want to fix it. And I definitely think that was one of the harder things to deal with, because for those who don't know, basically I have I had a rough childhood. I don't get along with much of my family, and so as when we first started dating, we kind of broke up because of the fact that I didn't feel I was good enough for him. Because amazing guy, like legitimately amazing, and I wish him nothing but the best. Um, and I didn't feel I was good enough. So because typically I don't feel like I should be loved, I guess, as I talked to my therapist about it. And so we broke up at that point, and as a requirement, he said, I won't get back together with you unless you prove that you're willing to not only love yourself but work on yourself. So okay. So it took me a couple weeks, but I finally, forgave my folks, my family, and kind of just moved on with it. Stopped carrying that baggage. I didn't accept what they did. I'm not okay with what happened when I was younger, but I forgave it because there's no reason to hold on to that baggage anymore. And so we got back together, and my thinking was this would be a mutual thing. We started after that 5 month where he broke up with me right there, and then we got back together. Like 2 weeks later, I started noticing he was having similar issues with his sisters, and he had similar traumas with his sisters. Not nearly as severe in like physical danger, but definitely like major mental trauma and such. So I started kind of saying, maybe you should work on this, maybe you should do this, kind of like how you told me to. And then the whole sex thing, he had an issue with his own trauma from a past relationship. So I said, maybe you should see someone. And he started seeing someone, and then he came to the mindset. I don't know if he was legitimately seeing someone. I assumed he was because I believe what he told me. But he told me he thinks we need to call it, basically, because he didn't think he could get past it. So here I am, basically standing here, changed, but he didn't want to. He couldn't move on. Nothing I could do about it. So we broke up after doing a whole trip to Portland and meeting my family, and I introduced him to my great grandmother, which is a really big deal because I've only introduced one. No, I haven't introduced anybody to her. Like, this was someone I was seriously in love with. But we got back, things just didn't work out. And then a month later, he was on a family trip and sends me pictures of him with another guy, and I'm like, well, okay. I guess I was right to think that he was into him. Can't do anything to change that. So, my memories from our relationship kind of soured. And during December, it's like, oh, I remember all these amazing things we did, and it's like, I can't do those now because, like, I can't even go to the Space Needle or go downtown to check out the lights because it just reminds me of a shitty memory now. Well, what is a good memory, but a shitty one now? Because now it's like, fuck, well, that'll never happen again. I haven't dated since, because I tried to hook up in November, didn't like it, wasn't really big on it. And so I just kind of like accepted it, moved on. So this month I'm definitely dealing with a lot more because of that, so it's a lot harder for me to want to both stream and hang out with people. I do have a trip planned to go see family at the end of this month, but definitely something I deal with. And I think that's something you kind of have to realize. Like, yesterday I had a meltdown at work. Like, one of our systems, like, I went and tried to pull a report, and because I didn't hit a very specific button because the interface is laggy or is messed up, and so I thought I did, but it didn't load in. And so I pulled a report and sent it out and got everything going, and then I find out from my boss, oh, hey, this is something that it didn't work. And so that plus another exterior situation that popped up on my, like, from a phone call I got, just all hit me at once, and I was like, I legit can't function anymore. So last night I went after the call. My boss was very supportive, amazing person. She really was there, and she reminded me, you can always go work out. And I was like, you had a point. So I went to the gym, did my workout for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, came home, and just kind of passed out. And then today, I'm dealing with it still. Like, I didn't go to the gym this morning because there's no point. I went last night. And I don't want to overbreak my arms here. But I woke up, didn't feel really in the mood to do anything. Got my work done that I needed to get done. Been kind of working on something, waiting for a report to pull, which is why I'm recording this video. While I wait, 'cause this is my main thing I had to do today. And, it's still, like, even now, I still feel like shit. You add on to the fact that OBS is having issues right now with Twitch, and my Twitch streams keep basically turning off. It's like, I don't feel like doing anything. Like, I just feel Twitch streaming is definitely one of those ways I do cope with things when I'm in a semi-okay mood, so, like, I'm okay enough to stream. It definitely brightens my day to have viewers, because even 1 or 2 viewers, like, just hanging out and chatting is amazing to me. But I have a hard time dealing with it otherwise. So, a lot of my Twitch stuff got deleted, all my VODs got deleted. My channel tried, like, it just felt like Twitch was like, fuck you. And on top of already feeling depressed, it was like, didn't feel like doing anything. Still don't feel like doing it. I'm not streaming tonight either, because I just can't. I don't want to, because, Twitch is just going to delete my shit again. So, I'm wrestling with some major depression right now, and, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, for the people out there who are dealing with something similar or even far worse, please see someone, talk to someone. I do have a therapist I talk to on a weekly basis. It just happens that this week we already had our session before it happened. And so, yeah, I recommend going and seeing someone, talking to someone, and trying to work it out, because it's not easy. I mean, it really isn't. Seasonal depression sucks. Family can suck. That's pretty much the main thing. But I wanted to let you guys know that was what I was dealing with. And yeah, even I'm human, Even I deal with this shit. My depression shows up in many different ways, from needing to cope with something, to eating very little, to eating way too much junk food, like I tried to last night. I almost went to Taco Bell. Actually, no, I did go to Taco Bell. After my gym routine. That explains this morning. I just remembered that. But, that's my thing. And, that's really what you guys should really think about is, during this season, check in on your friends, see how they're doing. Because it's not easy dealing with this shit, The smallest things can truly trigger a major depressive wave onto you. And it could be something as silly as, a work report didn't load right. And everything hits you. And it's no one's fault, No one's at fault. It just happens. Like, I'm bringing up the thing with Calvin because of the fact that was just the most recent example. Like, those memories are what are fresh in my mind. Like, I miss that. And it's because they were great memories. Like, amazing guy. We had an amazing time. I have no issue with him dating. He do whatever he wants. We're not together. I couldn't even stay friends with him because I couldn't get past the feelings I felt for him. Like, I legit had to just cut it cold turkey because I couldn't deal with it. I mean, I'm still in love with him, even now. And I probably will be for at least another year. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna go, look into him. I'm not, upset with him. Like, he had a full good reason to break up with me, and it was his decision, right? So I have to accept that and move on. And I am, like I said, I don't bother him, all that crap, and I don't want anybody to bother him. Like, I wish him well. It's just that those memories were so fond and such a big part of my day-to-day that it hurts to realize I'm not going to get him. It's kind of like when, your dog passes on, or like a family member passes on. You remember all those fond memories, and it makes you teary-eyed, and it makes you depressed that you won't get to do that again. Similar idea. I won't get to go do those things with him again, which is just how it's going to be. So, and that's why I train, that's why I work out so hard. But yeah, so, these are things that you guys should definitely be careful of. Reach out to your friends if they go quiet, check in on them, make sure they're okay. And, see and try and be there for them. I know my biggest issue is definitely the fact that I constantly have to act strong for the people I care about. And so, you know, that's why I'm here. I've wrestled with depression since I was probably 12 years old. Uh, been suicidal probably since I was 14. Wouldn't commit it because personally I don't agree with it. It goes against my beliefs, and so I'm not that type of guy. To fall to that point, I don't think. Like, as the joke goes, as long as you have a sword in hand, you have something to lean on to pick you up or to push off of. And that's the kind of mentality I stick to. But not everyone has that mentality. So, as you are, make sure to check in on your friends. Make sure they're okay. Make sure they have someone to talk to. Be that someone if you don't deal with this. Yeah. But that's kind of what's been going on, and I wanted to make sure I brought it up to talk about because it's not something a lot of people are willing to talk about. Not a lot of people are comfortable to speak on that kind of a subject. I definitely am not. I'm only doing this because it was something I felt like I wanted to put out there. Just like when I talk about the fact that, yeah, I've got body dysmorphia. I constantly see myself as fat, even when I've got 4-pack abs. Even when I'm running miles every week, multiple miles. Even though I know I eat very healthy, I'll never see myself as fit. I'm always gonna see myself as fat. And until I get into another relationship, I'm not gonna. Getting over these memories I have with my previous relationship aren't gonna necessarily go away. And I don't want the memories to go away, to make very clear. It's just they won't go from that, like, oh, this is depressing me, to, oh, those were fun memories, until I'm in another relationship, which I'm not going to rush into. Mostly because I'm not really interested right now. But, that's something that I think people need to talk more about and be okay with, because I think it can save lives if people talk about this kind of stuff. Don't go looking for a coping mechanism. Don't go drinking. Don't go smoking weed. If your coping mechanism is, fucking finding stuff to do, like reading books or something, or gaming, do that. But just don't isolate yourself at that point. Like, that's something you don't want to do. The way I deal with my depression most of the time is I game with my friends. I hang out and just chill. Right now, me and Chaston are doing a Divinity Original Sin 2 playthrough between the two of us. We're not recording, we're just having fun. Because we get our asses kicked constantly, and we're only on the first island. Or I run D&D games. So when I'm feeling okay. But, those are the kind of things that, whatever you gotta do to cope that isn't harmful, you should. So don't drink, don't be smoking weed, because both those, weed's not harmful, but it can become a dependent substance where you need it to just function. And yeah, like right now, I'm gonna go get a nice coffee and a little ice cream, and that's how I'm gonna deal with my day to day. Because you know what? That's what I need. And there's nothing wrong with that, I think as far as it goes, you do what you gotta do, and you try and be as healthy as possible, as you can mentally, while you're dealing with this. If you gotta cope some way that's at least somewhat healthy, then, go for it. Gaming, get a little treat, enjoy yourself, stuff like that. Or go watch some of my videos. But yeah, that's something I thought I need to bring up and talk about. And so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I promise you, at least tomorrow or Sunday, I will probably post a video talking about the goals for the channel for the next year. That's going to go as a channel trailer as well, that I'll be updating this weekend, and doing a massive thing for my players for D&D as I prep things. So thank you all, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.